Morning. It's Monday, July 27th, 2020. It's 2:42 a.m. It's 100 degrees outside. 2:42 in the morning. That's Arizona for you. I remember the very first spiritual book that I ever encountered, and I'm outside the Bible. I've read some other stuff. There was this one book that really had a huge impact on me. It was called Run Baby Run by Nikki Cruz, a little thin book. And matter of fact, I just ordered it from Amazon because I felt like, because it was so instrumental in my life, I read it when I was 13 or 14, and I was sitting in a lockdown cell of Durango County Jail. And but I ordered that book because I felt like it was something I needed to have inside of my collection. But I remember the first spiritual book I was guided to was by somebody who I trust, somebody who I've always seen as a mentor, somebody that's been in my life all my life, And what's crazy is I didn't even know this person read. I thought you got to a certain point in life where you didn't read unless it was like instructions or something like that. I didn't know, honestly, dead serious, I didn't know people read recreationally. I didn't know that they read to continue to educate themselves. I didn't know that people still read just to read. And, for people who know me, I'm not educated in terms of scholastics, but I am very self-educated, meaning life makes sense to me. It is what it is. And the book that I was turned on to enlightened me to the tribal beliefs of families, the tribal beliefs of religion, the tribal beliefs, if one of us is fighting, then we all fighting. And if you stand outside that and say, hold up, let me look at this from an observation perspective, why are y'all fighting? You would be considered the outcast, because our tribal belief is that if I'm fighting, we're all fighting. And whereas somebody that may not buy into that, because they might say, hold on, you might be fighting for the wrong reasons. You might be engaged in something that you don't have no business doing. Why would I get involved with that? Well, because that's what we do. And when I read about tribal beliefs and how they have this pack mentality, and whether it's good or bad, if you don't conform to that, then you are not one of us. You are not one of us. And that culture is embedded in almost every single fabric of society. It's embedded in work. Why? Because you got to have a culture. It's embedded in sports. Why? Because we have to have a conducive culture. It's in my house. We have to have a conducive culture. But what happens to that conducive culture is when it becomes abused, and it's, if I fight, then we all got to fight. Hang tight. Hold up. I think that cultural beliefs, that wolf pack mentality, is best reserved when it says, hey, if we all get money, let's all get money. If I'm getting money, you get money. Let's get money. If we getting this knowledge, go get this knowledge. If we want to raise our families to be the best, let's do that. But when it comes down to whatever I do, you have to do, because that's just what we do, that's where we lost grips. with 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 the concept of pack mentality. And it even becomes a point where when you try to raise out of that, when you look around and you finally get a good dose of what's really going on, and you say, I don't want no parts of this no more. This isn't healthy. Sorry. This isn't healthy. This isn't going anywhere. I'm not feeling the development. I'm not feeling the growth. I'm feeling like this pack mentality is hurting me. And trust me on this, when you go against it, you will be rejected. When you go against it, you will be made to feel as if your decision is the wrong decision. But I believe we all have this internal instinct that we either go with and it gets us to where we got to go, or we go against and it keeps us where we don't want to be. And this instinct is very sensitive. It's not no pushover. It's not some, fly by night instinct. No, this instinct is really real. And given the right consideration, this instinct inside of you will lead you to victory. It's led me to stop drinking under circumstances where peer pressure to drink was there. It's led me to go run in crazy weather conditions when people would say, you shouldn't go run right now because the weather is not that good, so you might want to not do that. Or it's led me to give up meat. And people will say, you shouldn't do that. People will look down on you. People will look at you like, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? This is what we do over here. This is the belief. This is what we all believe. How dare you? And the thing about this book that I was introduced to, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I say probably over 8 years ago, 9 years ago, was that the pack, the cultural infrastructure will support the belief, whether it's right or wrong. And if you're not a strong individual, it will have you believing that you're wrong, that you're making the bad decision. When in reality, you have to stick to your conviction. People will say, you're losing too much weight. I love that one. Because what that's telling me is you're insecure about how you look and feel. Oh, are you losing too much weight? I'm looking like you could probably stand to lose a couple yourself. Right? But people will push their cultural beliefs, what they believe to be the ideal look, the ideal weight, on you. And let me just go on record and say, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. We all are. I'm not above it. But guilty or not, it's not right. And we have to get to a point where we start accepting that when you step outside of what the culture believes or what the tribe believes, it's going to be some ruckus. That's why I think it's a good idea that when you are born into a tribe, you got to remember something. When you're born into a tribe, most of the time you're born into a situation where you are being taught a lesson. You're being taught a series of lessons, either a series of what to do or a series of what not to do. If you see a bunch of your relatives being turned out on crack and you see them selling all their goods, living on the streets, moving in with relatives, stealing from people, then you have a choice to look at them as an example of what not to do and say, I'm going to go in a different direction, give all praises to God and say, you know what? I was born in this situation, but yet through God's grace, I was able to come out of that. And then God gets the glory in the end for that. But if you put everything in its proper perspective, you're born into these situations. You don't get to pick, this is my mom, this is my dad, this is my aunt, this is my uncle. They're wealthy. You know, some kids get born into wealth. You know, LeBron James' son, he's born into wealth immediately. Immediately. I don't know if that's a gift or a curse. Not a clue. Not a clue, because I've never done it. Couldn't tell you. But your instincts and everything inside of you will tell you that the tribal beliefs that you are brought into are either acceptable or not acceptable. That's why I feel strong about having a big family when you don't agree with the tribal beliefs, because you can create your own. But you can't create tribal beliefs and it's just you. I ain't never met nobody rolling in the battle with just one person. Even with David, it was just Goliath. It wasn't Goliath and the rest of the Palestinians. It was just them two going at it. And then you build a strong belief system. But you have to be strong enough to break through that and create a new atmosphere, create a new belief.